Okay, so welcome. My name is Luis Camacho, and Luis.
Aristarco, how are you?
And we are from Pabla, Puebla. We are very happy being here with this. It's going to be a traditional workshop for us because it's going to be the second or the third time we have this workshop on a FAB event. So we like the engraving technique because we have a poor translation with the name of the workshop. However, it's still quite interesting. So what we want to show you is a technique that you can use your laser cutter to make some engravings like this one or this one, and use them with a roller press, or if you don't have a roller press, we will show you another technique. So you can have these pictures, these beautiful pictures on paper. So these engravings are very traditional in some places, and it is an art, and making them by hand is really difficult. So you need to develop some skills that might take you several years to master. However, with digital fabrication, it's possible to focus on the design and let the machine make the rest of the process. So what is needed to do this? First of all, you need a laser cutter, and it depends on your laser cutter what kind of what your the speed and the laser capacity. It depends on that. Depending on that is what you have to do, and depending on the material you will use. So we can't tell you the parameters that you will use because every laser cutter is different, but we can show you something that will let you explore with your own machine. So it's recommended to use MDF. What kind of MDF? Well, it has to be not very thick. Sorry. So maybe this one is 3 millimeters thick, something like this. If you can, well, this is already engraved. However, it's 3 millimeters thick, or you can go up to 5 millimeters, something like that. But it's recommended to use 3 millimeters MDF. So once you have it,
I would like to add something. If you use MDF, your print is going to be totally flat. It's very interesting because it's very precise. If you use another material, just like triply or wood, sometimes you will see in your print that you can see the part of the wood. I don't know how you say it.
Like
the veins of the wood.
Sorry.
The veins of the wood. You could see.
You could see the grain, of the.
Yeah, great.
So sometimes it's very interesting to play with those parameters. If you wanted a flat one, just use MDF.
Yeah, and using MDF will it's kind of will approach you to the traditional way. Well, not the traditional way, but the traditional outcome of this engraving. So once you have your vector, so you have to put in your machine, in the software of your machine that you want to engrave the inner part or the outer part of your design. That depends on you and what the kind of outcome that you want to achieve. Or even if you don't have the time to do this kind of engraving, you can only use you can just cut the material and use it as a traditional stencil. You know, it's also possible. So you can have this kind of design. I don't know if you can see them like here, or you can make just some kind of a stencil like this one, and it works perfectly. So that's the interesting thing of using laser your laser cutter, and it will take much less time than doing this by hand for sure. So once you have your MDF, your engraved MDF like this or like this one, you need some paper. But this paper,
I just would like to add something. It is once you master the technique, you will be able to print very fine details.
yeah,
I don't know if you can see them, but those are very fine, and you can print it perfectly. So it's very interesting. Like this piece, if you see, there are very fine lines in between, and those lines do not print do not ink themselves, so they look white. So it's it can be a very precise.
yeah, exactly. It's kind of this is kind of a stencil, like the traditional stencil. But you have to play with your machine in order to achieve this kind of results. Okay, because every laser cutter is different, every software is different, and what is important to know is that the software that you use might let you move the parameters with a lot of freedom. If you don't have enough freedom to move them, well, you have to try to achieve like some kind of engraving that lets you go down around 1 millimeter or half millimeter. With 1 millimeter, using a 3 millimeter MDF is good enough. So you have to play with it. You have to try some well, we have to experiment with some parameters, and then you will see. So once you have that, you need some paper. But even though you can use any kind of paper, the paper that is used for this kind of process is paper that has an important amount of cotton in it. So, such as if you can see, I don't know if you can here we can see the texture, and it's not as thick as cardboard or something like that, but
you can see the fibers here. So it's a very thick paper, and it's kind of it shows like fabric kind of.
Yeah, kind of fabric.
And that is important because you have to wet the paper in the process. So it has to be able to be very wet. You can dry it, and the paper, when you press it, since it's very thick paper, you will not only see that the ink on the process, but it will also engrave the form. So that's the reason why this process is very beautiful.
Yeah, indeed. And other tool that you will need is this kind of rollers. This is like a rubber. Yeah, sorry. It's a rubber roller. It's important to be a rubber roller because what it does is to apply on evenly, that like in a very even way, the ink on your design. So
and it is rubber, but it is hard enough not to go in between the design. So it will only paint what you want to. If the roller is too soft, it will go into your design, and it is impossible to take the ink out of there.
And you will need this kind of ink. This ink is a special ink for engraving. Here we just found a black one, but in some places you can find from different colors, and you can make beautiful effects with it, and like transitions and things like that. So it depends on the what you can find in your local stores. So I will change the camera so you can see the other side here.
This is the machine that is used. There it is. This is the machine. In Spanish, it's called tórculo. In English, I think it's a roll press. So you put your engrave between these two rolls and with a thick fabric, and you will engrave it like that. So now we are going to do it manually.
So first of all, to apply the ink, you need an even surface. In this case, I used an acrylic. However, it's recommended to use glass, like a glass for a window or something like that. Acrylic works also well, but if you have some glass, it's better because you can clean it with some materials and it won't get damaged. Acrylic depends on what you use to wash it. Well, you can have some problems with it. So
yeah, because this kind of ink, you can clean it either with thinner or with turpentine, and sometimes acrylic would not stand very much the thinner.
Yeah, so the problem with that is that you will use your acrylic, and once you want to clean it, it's over. So in this case, we use it because it's just a scrap. So if you have a scrap, well, you can use it. And you have to. Oh,
¿Dónde está tu?
Está en mi escritorio. Atrásito, ahí está. So sorry, we are running out of the battery. We are going for the for the charger. So okay. So I will show you. Se acabó, pero ya estoy acá en el. Sorry. We'll connect in a minute with the laptop again, but I will show you right now. So as you can see here, I will apply the ink. Be careful because this ink is really like sticky. So you will need some hard work to take it off. So you will apply it like this on the even surface, in this case, the acrylic. And then, oh, and then with the rubber roller, yeah, it's funny how it sounds. You will make some movements, even movements of just upwards like this. So you're trying to have the ink on the roller, on the rubber roller, evenly. So you will notice that when the ink is already under the rubber roller, and once you have that, you'll take your engraving. Ya sé. Gracias. So give me a minute. I think we can go back to the computer. Yeah, so here, let's see if you can see this. No. Yeah, perfect. So what you have to do now is with the rubber roller, yep, apply it just in one direction, just only, and you don't have to press a lot, because if you do so, the ink will go in places that you don't want it to. You have to do it like this, trying to put to place the ink evenly, and you have to do it a couple of times, because maybe the first time you apply the ink, it won't be enough to have a good result. So once again, I will try to put some ink on the roller. And like this, like this. And one more time. So you can see that still enough ink on my surface, so I can just take a little bit more from it, more ink from it, and once again. So try to see if some of the small details on your engraving, if they have enough ink. Maybe on camera you can't appreciate that, but when you try this in your lab, you will notice that some parts look like a little bit more, like with a different shade. So you have to see like the shading or the lighting, that the reflection of light and the ink on an even way. So maybe now it's enough. So the next step is take our paper and putting it in water, just a little bit, enough to soften it. Okay, a little bit, and then we'll put it here for a while, and we'll go to the roller press now. Ahorita este primero. Okay. Yeah.
It is important after getting wet the paper, you have to dry it a little bit until it's not shining.
Like this. So now it's not like a shiny paper with oil. Well, it's wet enough, but not shiny, and it's soft enough to go into the press. Now, we have to place the engraving here. Then the paper. It's important to center it properly. If you have some measurement or your paper is if you want your engraving to be in a special part of your paper, well, you have to place it properly. And
if you're going to make several prints, it's a good idea to put some guides so the paper is in the same place every time, and your engraving plate is in the same place every time.
Yeah. And it's also recommended to use another paper, maybe the same type of paper or not or a lighter paper, not so thick, to put it over, put it on the wet paper. It will help not to get. It will help to protect the paper that will get engraved.
It helps you also to make evenly spread ink on your print.
Yes. So it's important on this kind of machine to calibrate it to the thickness of your engraving plate, you know, like of your MDF in this case. So once you have it, you start pressing like this. You start moving. Be careful with your fingers, and you do it not slowly, but on a good pace. You know, like this, all the way through. So it's already passed. Let's go. In this case, let's go back. And let's see.
The next print is going to be by hand. So if you don't have this kind of a roller press, you can do it by hand in your lab.
So let's see if it works, or if we have to calibrate a little bit more the machine. So currently,
this is important. It's very important that be very careful. It has to be in one movement. Otherwise, you'll have things all over your design.
so as we can see, it worked well. We can improve a little bit some parts. For instance, we need a little bit more of pressure and ink on this side, and we have to clean a little bit this under, like the under grading part, because a little bit of ink passed through the, well, when I was applying ink, a little bit of the ink was applied here. But we can try it again in a moment. But right now we will try the second technique that is very useful when you don't have this kind of machine. So let's try with other design. What? Okay. So we will use this. Okay. So important. The camera is flipping the picture, so you can see these words on the right direction, but they actually are mirror. Yes, they are a mirror. So you have to mirror always your designs, because it's the way you have to print them. Otherwise, if you engrave them on the way you want to see them, well, you will have a mirrored print. So be careful with that. It's something that happens a lot. So we'll apply ink to this. So this is a new piece, so you can see that if I apply just a first layer of ink, you can see that it's you can see perfectly that it's just it's not a lot of ink. So you will have to make this process. When it's a new engraving, you will have to have like 5 passes of ink, maybe 3 to 5. So let's do that. Let's do it. to do it just in one direction. It's not always possible, but try to do it.
You just put ink on one side, and then you use the roller to spread it.
So as you can see, MDF has this problem. So it broke my engraving, well, my mold in this case broke. So the good part, the good thing is that this just took me like no 1 minute, like 50 seconds to engrave it and cut it. So if needed, you can have another engraving, another mold in this case. So the third layer maybe is enough. So let's do this. So same process. We will take our paper. We'll put it into water carefully, and then we will use some paper and we will dry it. We will take up some water so until the paper is not shiny. So we have like yeah, it looks good enough. Okay. So once we have that, we'll place over piece or over mold over engraving. We will take also our paper to protect and to protect the wet paper and to help the ink to go more even on the wet paper. And I will use a spoon. You can use some other stuff to press it, but if you have this kind of concave or convex form, it's very useful for this process. So you have to press hard enough to pass the ink to the paper. Be careful not to move the paper.
That is important. You always have to hold your mold, your engraved mold, and the paper. If the paper moves, all your print will be moved. It is going to be a mess.
Well, let's see.
Again, single movement. You can
So, well, I missed some parts here. So if you can see some texture, like some small lines, this texture is the paper's texture. So in order to get rid of this texture, we need to press more, so or we need to press harder and press a little bit more time to press longer. But no, it's kind of a good first print, you know. Once if you have to make like, I don't know, 10 or 20 or 100 of this, I would recommend it to use a spoon. If you have to make 100 of them, well, try to find a place where you can use this kind of machines. If you want to make a couple of these engravings, well, using a spoon is a good option, you know. So yeah. Just to have a last try with another mold, another engraved mold with more detail. We will use this. Okay, I don't know if it's if you can see what it's engraved in it, but let's
para que salga bien el detalle. No, tú dale, yo lo...
Ah, okay. So the same thing, we have to apply ink evenly. So now I need a little bit more of ink on my acrylic. It's important to remember to close your ink once you stop using it and clean the lid, because as I told you, it's really sticky and you can start having a mess here or in your workplace. Also, I think it's also important to say that you can find different sizes of this kind of rock rollers. This is a small one, but you can find some rollers that are double size of this, or you can find the big ones, really big ones that are used for big pictures or big engravings. So maybe one more pass. Good. Now I will place it now here. Yep. And I will take my paper. Okay. Okay. Swipe a little bit. Both sides. Okay. Okay. Yeah, good enough. Yeah. So let's plug it here. Let's put the protection paper. And now I'll go a little bit slower than the last time, so maybe we can have a better result. here. And now let's go backwards. So, there we go. Let's see. Okay, so look at this. So as you can see, you can achieve a really small detail. You can see that. Can you see that? Yes. So it's interesting because maybe I'm thinking that you can engrave some, for instance, a picture, you know, or something like that, a picture of someone. Maybe we can use that laser engraving with this technique. I don't know. There are plenty of possibilities using this technique.
I'm not sure. I don't understand what you mean by jig. There's a question there that if we can use a jig or other support structure, you mean instead of MDF?
A jig, like como un marco, ¿no? Para no moverse.
No lo sé.
So do you refer to like jig like a jig like so you refer to something to not to have like the same orientation to the if you want to make a lot of engravings.
Well, we also have used, as we told you, we have used wood and we have used triple-ply, no?
Yeah, yes, slightly.
Triple-ply, and we have also used corian. Corian is the thing that what you use for the kitchens or something like that. And it works very fine. You can achieve a very fine detail with that material.
Yeah, corian is kind of a resin that was developed to use instead of granite or stones. Mm-hmm. It's really good. You can use a CNC machine to work on it, and you have really good finishing.
Also, you can use the laser machine, and it is very fine detail. So you can play with a lot of textures and things, and you can have very fine, very detailed designs.
Yeah. For instance, if you just today we made some tests, some tries, and this, for instance, we put just one layer of ink, and we use or spoon to make transfer, like transferring the ink. So it wasn't enough ink and it wasn't enough pressure. So as you can see now, the result, it was another try. It was better, much better. And now this one, you can see it's more clear the text.
This is interesting because the text, in the text, there was this all this dust, the laser dust, and that's why it came out this way.
Yeah, actually, this is the original mold. This is like the original engraving. So it had this texture, this problem here, and now the one we use today, it's better. see, it's more detailed. So that's like the main point to make this kind of engraving with your laser cutter and a roller press or a spoon at your lab, and you can have very interesting results, beautiful results. Imagine using this with maybe instead of placing just black ink, you can put like black ink and then yellow ink and maybe blue ink, and the result will be very interesting actually.
And also a very nice feature of this technique is that you engrave the paper. It's not only the ink, but I don't know if you can see the
it's like a relief, you know, like a,
yeah, there you can see it. You know, the paper is not flat. You can see the engraving pattern on it, so it makes a very beautiful print.
Yeah, it looks texturized.
Yeah, texturized. That's right.
yeah, it's like it's texturized like a relief or like over relief or something
Yeah,
like that.
like a paper napkin with all these textures. It will texturize your pattern.
And actually, if you want to make something like that, like embossing the paper or something like that, it's also the same process, you know, and it's nice. You can have really nice results. You can make really nice products, and it's an interesting technique for those who are in the like illustration or all that. This is beautiful. We really like this process. So I don't know if you have any question or if you have any comment or ideas, because part of this is to share ideas, to share. Well, if you think that it's possible to do something with this technique, something that we haven't talked about, well, we can share and we can try.
And please let us know your ideas. Maybe we can try it here, because we love to do this thing. Any more? How did you make those honeycombs in different shapes? It was engraved with different power of those parts? No, actually, what it has, I don't know if you can see that there are different amount of lines inside the honeycombs. You see there are some finer lines and then some darker lines. It's not a shape, but it's the amount of lines that there are in each honeycomb. But if you see it from this distance, it looks great. It looks like shaded, yes. Yeah, it's pattern different. That's right.
Okay.
Okay. Well, guys, that will be it. Remember that Fab 18 is going to be here in Mexico. Here you will be able to know to be in this lab, and you can use everything that we have. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you, and well, keep safe, keep in touch, and see you on Fab 18 in Puebla, Mexico, in a couple of years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you very much.